Hey everyone, Hannah here, and today I want to talk about some sustainability tips and tricks that are so easy to integrate into your life. I am labeling them lazy sustainability. Just a little background about myself before we get started here. I used to be somebody that viewed personal sustainability strategies as something that was not that important, and I assumed that my own impact on the world could not mean that much, and so for a long time I kind of gave up on the whole concept of sustainability as a whole. Spoiler alert, I no longer believe these things. Looking back, of course, it's so easy to see the error in my ways, but at the time I truly did believe those things, and that's why I was so close-minded about the idea of sustainability and doing things to help better the environment around me. Only after restructuring my life entirely by going to rehab was I able to see the error in my ways. When I came out of rehab, I had a renewed sense of my purpose in the world and the effect that my own actions could have on the people in the world around me. Fast forward a few months to when I met my fiancée, Sage. Her extreme passion on sustainability was the primary motivator for me doing more work in sustainability in my own life. She showed me many of the different ways that I could change what I was doing just a little bit and be able to have a big impact on the world all the same. I realize not everybody has a partner that's as passionate about sustainability as Sage is, so I figured by sharing a few different tips and tricks for ways that you could adapt your life just slightly, but create a big impact on the world around you. First tip I want to talk about is getting reusable napkins. This is my favorite tip and trick to recommend to friends and family, since it is so easy to integrate into your life. Rather than buying the paper napkins that you do at the store typically, you buy a set of cloth napkins and you use those whenever you eat your meals, so that way instead of using something disposable every time you have to clean your face or your hands, you can use something that's going to go back into the wash and going to be used again, so you're saving that impact on the environment. I also love linen napkins because they make your dinner table feel so cozy and upscale in a way that paper napkins just don't. Just a quick note here, I do not abstain from using paper towels 100% of the time. But simply with regards to when I'm eating, I use a linen napkin to wipe my face and my hands rather than using a paper napkin or paper towel. I still do keep some paper towels under the sink, but I use those exclusively for the really gross messes. So things like the cat puking or the cat pooping, you could tell most of the problems are from my cats. But I typically use those paper towels to clean up any messes that are a little bit grosser and I wouldn't want to have on something that I was going to reuse. So I think that they can have a place in your home as well, but I think by switching to linen napkins, you will use far fewer paper towels than you ever did before. Tip number 2 is getting a reusable water bottle. This may seem so simple, but sadly for most of the world, it just isn't. It's crazy to me how many people I see lugging around the 24 or 48 packs of water bottles out of the grocery store. And I just feel like it is such a waste for you to be using something disposable every time you want to take a drink of water. Now, obviously, not everybody in the world has access to good, clean, and potable water in your home. If your water is filled with contaminants at your house, consider getting a Brita water filter to filter out all of the contaminants to make your water a bit better to drink at home. Obviously, everybody's situation is different, and I'm not trying to shame the people who are buying those big packages of water at the store, because they very well may be in a situation where they cannot get fresh water out of their tap, and they need those bottles to be able to drink water a healthy amount in order to stay healthy. But I have seen a trend in most of the people that I have known in my life to buy water at the store rather than getting it out of the tap because it just doesn't feel right to drink it out of the tap or because it doesn't taste as good. If you are somebody who buys water bottles at the store, I'm just asking you to simply assess your situation and see if you could be doing a little bit better for the environment, while at the same time cutting down on the amount of products that you have to carry into your house. The third tip I want to talk about is buying more food from a local source. Now, I realize that not everybody in the world has a farmer's market close to them with good, healthy produce for them to go buy. But if you do not have a farmer's market in your area, try researching your local grocery stores within a radius of your house and finding which ones have the best practices within regards to sustainability and the amount of time that it takes for that produce to get to you. Just how fresh is it? By buying local produce and meat products, you are helping cutting down on the emissions from all of the trucks to bring those products halfway across the country to get to your grocery store. It can really have a big impact on the world as a whole. It's also worth noting that by buying food at a farmer's market rather than your traditional grocery store, you are helping to support a small local business in your area that desperately needs that income in order to survive. The fourth tip I want to talk about today is buying things secondhand. Now, I used to be somebody that was completely skeeved out about the idea of buying anything secondhand, and there are some things that I still feel that way about today. For instance, a couch. I wouldn't want to buy a secondhand couch. I don't know why I have that idea ingrained in my mind, but for some reason I could never get past the idea of buying a couch secondhand. And it's okay to have certain priorities in life for things that you want to buy new for whatever reason. But for a vast majority of things in your life, you can buy them secondhand and notice little to no difference. I used to think I would be getting a damaged product by buying something secondhand, but that's just simply not the case. Now, obviously, everybody has heard buy a used car rather than a new car because it'll save you a lot of money, but the same goes for lots of other things. For furniture, you can pick things up off Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist, and for clothes, you can go to local thrift shops or even more upscale thrift shops like Plato's Closet. That's personally like where I like to shop for my clothes. For most secondhand products, you often have the opportunity to inspect the product before you buy it, and that can help you feel more confident in your decision to buy secondhand rather than getting something brand new. And the fifth and last tip on this list is an extremely simple one. It's buying LED light bulbs. And by using less electricity, your bill will be less as a result. And also, LED light bulbs don't have to be replaced nearly as often as traditional light bulbs. I was amazed when I purchased my first LED light bulb, and it sat in the light in the apartment that I was in until eventually I left the apartment. I actually outlasted the light, which never happens for any traditional light bulb, at least not in my experience. So there we have it, 5 easy tips on how to make your life a little bit more eco-friendly while saving some money in the process. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and if you liked it, please go ahead and give it a like for me. And if you enjoyed this video enough that you want to see more videos of mine in the future, please consider subscribing. And I would love to hear your comments on sustainability and eco-friendly practices in the comments section below. So please comment below with your lazy sustainability ideas. I would love to hear them from you. That's all for today, and take care. On sustainability gave me the I also love linen napkins because it feels like you are... I also love linen napkins because it makes your whole... just how long the light bulb stayed in without ever going